Like to begin again? Okay, we're on text number 20. We're hearing about how the ladies, the gopis in Braja, how they were doing the rituals for the child. As it's mentioned, they used the dust raised from the movements of the cows.
Recording in progress.
The child was thoroughly washed with cow urine. And then the dust from the cows, then different names of the Lord were applied with cow dung on 12 different parts of his body, beginning with the forehead, just as we do with tilak. And this way the child was given protection. So, we could ask, why would they want to protect Krishna when he's the Lord Krishna, he's the Supreme Lord? Does he need somebody to protect him? Yes? What do you think? Why these gopis are doing all of this for the Supreme Lord? These gopis, they know he's the Supreme Lord. They know he's God, right? They're all, these ladies, these gopis are all pure devotees. They're all liberated souls. So they understand this child is not ordinary, he's the Lord himself. They all have great love for him. So why do you think they're having to do all these rituals to protect the child? Yes? Maharaji? Prema Bhakti Ras Maharaji? Could you give us an answer? Okay, I'll answer it myself then. Nobody wants to answer. Certainly, these ladies are all enlightened ladies.
Maharaj, we could not hear you. Can you unmute Maharaj?
Oh.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh, I'm muted, huh? Okay. Okay, now you can hear me. Okay, so we're at the point where the gopis were performing rituals for the purification of Lord Krishna. And text number 20 describes how the child was washed in cow urine, and then they used the dust raised from the hoofs of the cows. They smeared it all over his body. And then they used cow dung to mark different parts of his body, just like we do with tilak. And they began with the forehead, just like we do Om Keshavaya Namaha. So they also chanted the names of the Lord on different parts of the body of this child, who is actually the Lord himself. So I was wondering, and maybe somebody could tell me, why do you think these ladies are going to do so much to protect this child? Because this child is actually the Lord, he's the personality of Godhead himself, he's Swayam Bhagavan. Why they need to give him protection?
Maharaj, they never considered Krishna had to be the Supreme Lord.
Why?
They always consider because of, I'm not very sure, maybe because of Mahamaya covering, or most of the Vrajavasis never consider Krishna as the Supreme, and they always consider him to be one among them.
Okay, yes, because they have that special love for Krishna, the sweetness of their loving exchange with Krishna, right? that if they think of Krishna as God, then that sweetness is not there anymore. If you're thinking this child is God, then it will be on veneration and reverence, give obeisances and everything. It will be a different mood. But in the mood of sweetness, for the greater ras, to enjoy the higher ras, these gopis who are all enlightened ladies, they're all great devotees, they're pure devotees, they simply see the Lord, they see him as a child. And they're the mothers. Their duty is to protect the children. Women love children. They'll have special love for their own children, but they love all children. They care for all. And of course, when it comes to Lord Krishna, all women love Krishna. Because Krishna is the soul in the heart of everyone. So the person we love more than anybody is Krishna. And these ladies are in the mood of mothers. They're thinking of Krishna as their child, and they want to protect him. So it goes on describing, read text number 21, how they did Akshman. Sipping the water from the right hand, purified their bodies and hands with the Nyasa mantra, and then applied the same mantra upon the body of the child. So this is the mood of the gopis. They know how to do these things. We see often when we come to give people initiation, they have no idea how to do this. Most people, they don't know, unless they're somehow brought up in the culture, they know. Usually at the time of initiation, they learn how to do these things like Akshman, how to purify themselves. So, very simple process, not very difficult. We just have to chant the names of the Lord and sip some water. This is the culture. And Prabhupada says, by losing Indian culture, Indian householders have forgotten how to execute the Anga Nyasa and are simply busy in sense gratification without any advanced knowledge of human civilization. So this is an unfortunate condition. This is what happens with economic development, that we lose the culture, we become addicted to all these different acts of sense gratification, and we don't know how to do the basic things, like how to protect our children, how to give them proper protection. Of course, people in the cities, they don't know these things, but in the villages still today, in the countryside, people will know better. At least they should know. We hope so. So Sukadeva Goswami is describing to Maharaj Parikshit, and we hear the different names of the Lord being chanted. The gopis followed the proper system, protecting Krishna with this mantra. And different parts of the body are being protected. May Aja protect your legs, may Maniman protect your knees. So all the way up to the body, come up to the top of the head. Vishnu, your arms, Urukram, your face, Ishwara, your head. May Chakri protect you from the front. May Sri Hari, Gadadhar, the carrier of the club, protect you from the back. So the different deities of different directions, first of all, the different deities of the different bodily limbs, and then the different deities of the different directions. And they want to protect the Lord in every way possible. May Lord Urugaya, the carrier of the conch shell, protect you from all corners. May Upendra protect you from above. May Garuda protect you on the ground. And may Lord Haladara, the Supreme Person, protect you on all sides. Prabhupada writes in the purport, people should know how to do this, for this is a part of Vedic civilization. It's done with the help of cow dung, cow urine. Simple and practical way. What do we do today? We do things, you get things like antiseptics and chemicals. You get insurance policies, and you take vitamin tablets and things like that. Everything is so artificial, unnatural. But actually everything is provided for us by the grace of God. If we use what is the gifts of nature, we'll be much more effective. So these Gopi ladies, they knew how to do this 5,000 years ago. Then we see text 24 describes about protecting the inside. We heard about protecting outside in all different directions. Then 24 goes on talking about the inner elements of the body of the Lord. May Rishikesh protect your senses, Narayan your life air. May the master of Sweta Dweep protect the core of your heart, and may Lord Yogeshwara protect your mind. So all different items of protection. And then it continues like that. Text 25, 26, more things are being described. Prishnigarbha, protect your intelligence. The personality of Godhead, protect your soul. And then at the end, similarly, may Lord Yagnabuk, the fearful enemy of all evil planets, always protect you while you enjoy life. So they pray so many different ways to protect the child. Then 27 to 29 describes so many different demons who we don't want them to disturb the child. Then it mentions so many different inauspicious dakinis, evil women, right? Dakinis are evil women. These evil women are all the enemies of the children. It talks about evil stars, evil, like the most experienced evil star, they all create great disturbances, especially for children. But one can vanish them simply by uttering Lord Vishnu's name. For when Lord Vishnu's name resounds, all of them become afraid and go away. So this is important for us to understand the power of the holy name. By chanting the holy name, then all the inauspiciousness is driven away. Right now, Kali, Kirtana Deva Krishna Shya Mukta Sangha Paramprajit. The age of Kali is an ocean of faults, but there's one good thing about it. Simply by chanting the holy name, one can get perfection. So we see here also how the gopis took shelter of the holy name. They used the holy name to purify and to protect the child, inside, outside, above and below, everywhere. They made full use of the holy name. In the purport of text 29, Prabhupada mentions, he said, Ayurvedic Shastras recommend Oshadi Chintayat Vishnum. Even while taking medicines, one should remember Vishnu, because the medicine is not all and all, and Lord Vishnu is the real protector. So when you take medicine, you should remember that. Oshadi Chintayet Vishnum. This is a chantant mantra. Just like we say, usually we just say Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Because ultimately it's not the medicine which is going to cure us or save us. It's Lord Vishnu. Right? In Bengali they say, if Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can save him. And if Krishna wants someone to live, nobody can kill him. We have to depend on Krishna. That is the real protection, not the medicines, not the doctors, not all the things they do to you in the hospital and everything. We have to just depend on Krishna. So this process of doing these rituals is to get people to become more Krishna conscious, get them to chant the holy name. That's very important. Prabhupada writes, therefore, text 29, purport, therefore, one must become a Vaishnava and think of Vishnu constantly. This is made easier by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And then he quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he's recommended Kirtaniya Sadahari. And he quotes other verses also, Kirtanad eva Krishnasya mukta sangha parambrajet. Oh, the same verse, you see. So, the holy name, that is the real medicine for all disease. Take shelter of the holy name. Going ahead, text number 30. All the gopis headed by Mother Yashoda were bound by maternal affection. After they thus chanted mantras to protect the child, Mother Yashoda gave the child the nipples of her breast to suck, and then got him to lay down on his bed. Prabhupada remarks that when the child is healthy, then he'll be eager to drink the milk from the mother's breast. So it's a sign of health that the child wants to drink the milk of his mother. A healthy baby will want that. And Krishna was showing, he was a healthy child. He wants to drink his mother's milk. Mother Yashoda, she's doing many other things, but Damodar Lila, we know, sometimes she put down Krishna, but Krishna he's eager to drink the milk from his mother's breast. Very healthy for the child. So at that time, then all the cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, they came back from Mathura. Text 31. And when they saw on the way the gigantic body of Putana laying dead, they were struck with great wonder. Nanda Maharaj was especially shocked. Why would he be shocked? Why was Nanda Maharaj shocked to see this? Anyone?
Maharaj, maybe he was connecting it to the prediction of Vasudeva, and he thought, there was some danger here in Vrindavan, like predicted by Vasudeva.
Yes, right. He would think, oh, this Vasudeva is a great sage. He must be a perfect yogi. He can tell the future. He knew, somehow he knew. You know, Nanda Maharaj was just surprised that Vasudeva told me that I have to get back to Gokul, and now I see that some nonsense is going on here. What's been going on here? Nanda Maharaj was bewildered. He thought, what has been going on? This big Rakshasi woman's body is laying everywhere. It crushed so many people. The acharyas say that when she was alive, she was killing people, and when she died, also she was killing living entities. Her whole business was killing, right to her death. When she fell over dead, she killed so many. She crushed people, crushed living entities. So many creatures died under her weight. So Nanda Maharaj was also thinking, Vasudeva warned me. Vasudeva knows that he knew the future. And he thought, oh, he must be a great sage. Maybe he's perfected his yoga. He's done some, he's got some yoga powers, yoga siddhis, and now he's telling me he told me the future. So he had even, his respect for Vasudeva was increased seeing that. Of course, it was also a very, very gigantic form, 12 miles long, huge, like a mountain, just like we go around Govardhan Hill. Govardhan Hill is like that, 22 kilometers, 24 kilometers to go around. So you can imagine, Putana, just like another, Govardhan Hill in the form of a woman. So when they saw Putana laying dead, they were struck with wonder. They thought maybe she was at a mountain and she fell down. They cut off her wings and so she fell down. They couldn't begin to imagine what happened. But then also he remembered about Vasudeva, because Vasudeva has another name, Anakadumbabi. Right? Anakadumbabi, we heard that Dumbabi is the drum, and Anika, and it meant at the time of his birth, they were beating the drum. They were beating the Dumbabi drum. So it was like heralding the arrival. When he took birth, it was like recognizing that he's a great soul. So Nanda Maharaj thought, yeah, he's really a great soul because he could predict this. And he said, oh, from his birth, he was why else would they be playing the drum? They must have thought he's a great soul. So from his birth, he was understood to be a great soul. Now he's showing it to me that he knew the future, and he told me to get back to Gokul to protect everyone there. So these are some points about Nanda Maharaj coming into Braja. So text 22, Nanda Maharaj and the other Gopas exclaimed, my dear friends, you must know Anakadumbabi, Vasudeva, has become a great saint or a master of mystic power. Otherwise, how could he have foreseen this calamity and predicted it to us? Vasudeva, and Prabhupada writes in the purport, Vasudeva actually had all mystic powers under his control. Otherwise, he could not have become the father of Krishna. But in fact, he foresaw the calamities in Braja by studying Kamsa's political activities, and thus warned Nanda Maharaj to take precautions. So Vasudeva was really a saintly person, and even though he has all mystic powers, when he was put in the prison house of Kamsa, he didn't use them. He just tolerated. He accepted it. And even though Kamsa killed the children, he didn't stop. He kept his word because he had promised Kamsa that I will give you the children when they're born, one after another. So he kept his promise. He showed his integrity. All right, then we hear text number 33. The inhabitants of Braja, they cut the gigantic body of Putana into pieces with the help of axes. And then they threw the pieces far away, covered them with wood, and burned them to ashes. And Prabhupada explains like that. Why did they burn the body? What's the reason? When you kill a snake, you're supposed to burn the body. Why?
It will come back to life again.
Right. Actually, I heard the story. They say if you kill a snake, they say the snake takes a picture of the person killing it with its eyes. It takes a picture of the person killing it, and that picture of the person who killed it is there in its eyes. And then the other snake comes. He will look in the eyes of the dead snake, and he will see the picture of the person who killed the snake, and he can come and get that person who killed the snake. So that's what that's one reason that why they burn the snake, or so. You don't want the other snake to come and look in the eyes and see who killed it, because it's going to be a problem. But the other thing is they could come back to life again. And we see like Jarasandha. Bhima ripped him in half. But sometimes the two pieces would come back together. So he had to throw them really far away, so they couldn't come back together. I don't know, maybe that's why they burn humans, huh? They don't want us to come back to life again. Better to burn them, become ashes. Okay, text 34. Because of Krishna having sucked the breast, the Rakshasi Putana, when Krishna killed her, she was immediately freed of all material contamination. Her sinful reactions automatically vanished. And therefore, when her gigantic body was being burned, the smoke emanated from her body was fragrant like aguru incense. So aguru incense is supposed to be the best of all fragrances, very, very wonderful, very mesmerizing fragrance. So that smell was very wonderful. How was it Putana's body could give such a nice smell? Because Lord Krishna had taken away all of her sinful reactions. Automatically vanished because Lord Krishna had killed her. She got the mercy, right? We described how she got that mercy. How did Lord Krishna purify her? Just simply by squeezing her breast. Remember, she was a Rakshasi, she had killed many babies, and she drank blood. But what was her good side? What was in her favor? Yes? Gorsunda?
She had desire to feed Krishna milk. Krishna accepted that particular gesture of love.
Oh, okay, she desired to do some service to Krishna. She wanted to feed milk to Krishna. That was one thing. Anything else?
She was the sister of Bali Maharaj. So Lord favored because of that. Her connection to pure devotee.
That was from the previous life. That reason, I've never heard that reason given before, that the Lord favored her because of her relationship with Bali. I don't know about... Yes?
Sanatan Goswami says that she dressed like a gopi.
Yes, that's a good one. That's the important point. She dressed like a gopi. The dress is important, you know. Even you're not a devotee, if you dress like a devotee, if you imitate the devotees, very beneficial. You see, Putana got the mercy because she dressed like a devotee. She dressed like somebody who's a devotee. So she had the right dress. So that helped her to get the mercy of the Lord, to get that benediction. So that was in her favor. She dressed proper. She dressed like the devotee, and she came to feed. She wanted to feed Krishna, even though she's got poison on her breast. So the compassion of the Lord is so great. he doesn't see what she's doing. He doesn't see so much the harm she's doing. He sees only the good side in her. Lord is very compassionate, and he purifies her, so much so that when they burn her body, has this wonderful fragrance. Usually burn dead bodies, it's terrible, horrible. You ever been in a graveyard where the crematorium? You know, it's a horrible smell, dead bodies. But here's Putana. Her body was so big and so hard that it crushed the trees to powder. But when they burn it, they chop it up and burn it, it's fragrant, like a guru. So just amazing. This is the potency of Lord Krishna. At the end of the purport, text 34, Prabhupada writes, she was immediately purified, so much so that when her nasty material body was burned to ashes, it gave off the fragrance of a guru, the most agreeable scented herb. All right, so Putana's body is burned, and then there's 35:30. Because she offered her breast to the Lord, she attained the greatest achievement. What then is to be said of those who had natural devotion and affection for Krishna as mothers, and who offered him their breast to suck, or offered something very dear as a mother offers something to a child? Right? You offer something. Just like we know in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, leaf, flower, fruit, water, you offer. Or other verse, mat karma, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities should be done as an offering to me, right? The offering to Krishna. So what we offer, it should be something which is dear to us. If we offer something which is very dear to us, and if we offer the most dear thing to us, then that will be more pleasing to Krishna naturally. If we give the most dear thing to Krishna. We offer something, well, this is nice. But if you give something which you really value, just like we encourage, give your whole life to Krishna. That's the best thing to do. If you can give your life to Krishna. Give something which we're very attached to. So the mothers, they like to give something. So Putana, what did she give? Did she give something that was dear to her? No, she came with poison on her breast to offer her poison to Krishna. So Krishna is so compassionate, Lord Krishna is so kind that he accepted that. He saw that she wants to offer me something, and she's dressed like a devotee, and she's coming with love and looking at me so nicely and saying nice things to me, treating me like a baby. Of course, she has her evil intentions. Prabhupada writes in the purport, text 36, if Putana could attain such an exalted position in spiritual life by neglectfully, enviously making an offering to Krishna, what is to be said of Mother Yashoda and the other gopis who serve Krishna with such great affection and love, offering everything for Krishna's satisfaction? So we should understand Putana's position, that she got special mercy from Lord Krishna. She didn't have the same devotion, of course, like Mother Yashoda. She didn't come to give anything very valuable. She didn't give the most valuable thing to Krishna. So she doesn't get the same position in the spiritual world. She doesn't actually become mother. She becomes nurse. And that is described in the 3rd canto by Uddhava. Aho pakiyam stanakala kutam jagam sayapayanad apya sabi labegatim datre uchitam tanunyam. Like that, datre, right? Nurse. She's a nurse. She's not a mother. She doesn't get the position of a mother. The other ladies, like the gopis, they were giving their breast milk to Krishna. They also had the mood of being mothers. When Brahma stole away the cowherd boys and the calves, at that time Lord Krishna took their place. So Lord Krishna drank the milk of all those gopis. He drank their breast milk. Of course, the gopis, they thought, this is our son, but it was actually Krishna. So all those gopis in Vrindavan, they all got to become Krishna's mother. They all went back to Goloka to be Krishna's mothers. They're Krishna's mothers eternally. And the cows and the calves, they also go back to Godhead because they're also giving milk. And they go back, they're cows in the spiritual world. They're cows in Vrindavan, and they become cows again in the spiritual world. And they give their milk for Lord Krishna in Goloka. What about Putana? Now Putana, she got mercy from Krishna. How did she get mercy? I explained one thing was that Krishna took hold of her breast and he drank, somehow he sucked her breast, and that time he took out her life there. And in addition, his lotus feet, which are worshipped by great demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who are all desiring to get the dust from his lotus feet. Lord Krishna, as a tiny baby, his lotus feet walked on that body of Putana at the time of her leaving the body. At the time of her leaving the body, Lord Krishna is walking there on her body with his lotus feet. So that's very, very special. Very, very special. So but she doesn't have the mood of devotion anywhere near like Mother Yashoda. But she does get to go to Goloka. She goes to Goloka and she's a nurse there, one of the nurses who take care of the different arrangements for the children there. All right? Is that understood? Everybody agree? Okay, going ahead, text number 38. The personality of Godhead Krishna is always situated within the core of the heart of the pure devotee. And he is always offered prayers by such worshipable personalities as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Because Lord Krishna embraced Putana's body with great pleasure and sucked her breast. Although she was a great witch, she attained the position of a mother in the transcendental world. And this achieved the highest perfection. What then is to be said of the cows whose nipples Krishna sucked with great pleasure and who offered their milk very jubilantly with affection, exactly like that of a mother? In this verse, they've used the word mother, but we should understand there are different kinds of mothers, right? How many mothers are there?
7 mothers.
Seven, right. Can you name them?
Brahmana's wife, king's wife, nurse, own mother, cow, and earth.
Okay, that's 6. Yeah, but anyway, very good. Yeah.
Spiritual. Guru's wife also.
Guru's wife, okay, yes. Thank you, Prabhu, very nice, yeah. So, nurse, you see, there's different kinds of mothers. Although they've said here she became a mother, actually, more accurately, she became nurse. Because her devotion, her position cannot be equal to that of the gopis and the Mother Yashoda, or even the cows, who are giving so much love and devotion for Lord Krishna, and pure devotion. You could say she came in the back door. She got in the back door of the spiritual special mercy. Lord Krishna brought her in. But that shows the power of bhakti. Anybody who does just a little bhakti, and we see Putana, what did she do? What little bhakti she did. She dressed like a gopi, and she's coming and she's smiling at Krishna, but she's and just because of that, she gets to go back to Godhead. So that is Krishna's special mercy. So we'll read the purport here, it's very nice. These verses explain how devotional service rendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whether directly or indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly, becomes successful. Putana was neither a devotee nor a non-devotee. She was actually a demonic witch instructed by Kamsa to kill Krishna. Right? This comes up sometimes, it's a little puzzling to hear when you first hear it. We would think Putana is a non-devotee, but non-devotee simply means one who's neutral. He hasn't made a decision whether he's devotee or not. He's neutral. But she was actually a demon, and she was outwardly opposed. Nonetheless, in the beginning, she assumed the form of a very beautiful woman and approached Krishna exactly like an affectionate mother, so that Mother Yashoda and Rohini did not doubt her sincerity. The Lord took all this into consideration, and thus she was automatically promoted to a position like that of Mother Yashoda. As explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there are various roles one can play in such a position. Putana was immediately promoted to Vaikuntha Loka, which is also sometimes described as Swarga. The Swarga mentioned in this verse is not the material heavenly planet, but the transcendental world. In Vaikuntha Loka, Putana attained the position of a nurse, Datri Uchitan. Right? They're quoting the verse spoken by Uddhava in the 3rd canto. As described by Uddhava, Putana was elevated to the position of a nurse and maidservant in Goloka Vrindavan to assist Mother Yashoda. So very clearly supported here with scriptural evidence to understand the position of Putana. And another verse here, again emphasizing the power of bhakti. 39 to 40. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the bestower of many benedictions, including liberation or oneness with the Brahman effulgence. For that personality of Godhead, the gopis always felt maternal love, and Krishna sucked their breasts with full satisfaction. Therefore, because of their relationship as mother and son, although the gopis were engaged, leaving their bodies. So these gopis, ladies, they're all goddesses of fortune. They're the best of the goddesses of fortune, and their position is in the supreme planet in the spiritual world, in Goloka Vrindavan, where they serve Lord Krishna as mothers, taking care of Lord Krishna in the mood of a mother. No, of course, they may have also their own children, their own families. In Goloka Vrindavan, it's like that. The gopis are working, doing many activities, but they're constantly doing kirtan. They're always chanting the glories of Lord Krishna. So Goloka Vrindavan is a very special place in the spiritual sky. Vaikuntha is a different mood. Vasudeva and Devaki, they also come to Goloka Vrindavan. They're also there with Krishna, taking part in his pastimes. But they're also there in Dwarka too. They have some little differences there. So we want to understand Lord Krishna's position, the power of bhakti, the importance of rasa, becoming Krishna's mother or Krishna's father. It's a very nice, wonderful opportunity. Just like in the material world, people get so much pleasure out of having a family, you have a child, you have so much love for them, so much attachment. We could just imagine how much pleasure there must be in being the father or the mother of Lord Krishna. Of course, the Christians, they have the mood that they think of God as the father. But in Krishna consciousness, we can become the father of God. We can become the father of... Krishna conscious philosophy is superior to the Christian philosophy because they're simply thinking God the Father. God is there to provide for me, should provide everything I need. We go to God to ask everything. But the position of the devotee is to give, to take care of God, to protect Him. Just like we heard today, how the ladies, the gopis of Vrindavan, how they did so many rituals for the protection of baby Krishna. And they were always so anxious for the protection of the child. So this is the mood of the devotee, to give service, not to take service. In the purport there, text number 40, Prabhupada writes, even though the gopis who were friends of Rohini and Mother Yashoda and who allowed their breasts to be sucked by Krishna were not directly Krishna's mother, they all had the same chance as Rohini and Yashoda to go back to Godhead and act as Krishna's mother-in-law, servants, and so on. So there was no question of being in the wheel of samsara for these gopis, because they're pure devotees. And they have all the knowledge, but they enjoy the affection for Lord Krishna. Then at the end of the purport of text 40, Prabhupada writes, the easiest way to attain spiritual elevation. This is a good answer. You know, people often ask, what's the easiest way to get liberated? He said, the easiest way to be liberated from this material world and to go back home, back to Godhead, is recommended by Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Krishnera samsara kari chadi andachar. Anachar. One should give up all sinful activities and remain in the family of Krishna. Then one's liberation is guaranteed. So we're not against family life. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati was also asked about family life, right? What did he say, Srinivas Prabhu? What did Bhaktivinoda Thakur say? Well, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati say when he asked what was better, Grihastha life or Brahmachari life? Single or married life? Which is better? They asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Do you know what he said?
I don't know.
Family life? Who knows? Ato Krishna, do you know?
Maharaj, as far as I remember, he said that I'm not that strong to be in Grahastha life.
No, that wasn't the
Did
answer.
it, Maharaj?
Yes, Prabhu?
So I have chosen
He said, if I could beget Krishna conscious children, then I would father 100 sons.
Okay.
But since I cannot do that, so I remain celibate.
Yeah. And there's another answer I heard. Anybody else? Anybody has another answer? Anyone? No? The answer I heard was, he said, family life is a better one. Family life is better than being single. But he said, not the family of the material world, the family of Krishna, the family of Nanda Maharaj. You have to be in that family. That's the best family. We want to be there in that family. Not the family of the material world. That is no good. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur is quoted here by Prabhupada. He said, then one's liberation is guaranteed. Give up sinful activities, remain in the family of Krishna. Of course, our Krishna conscious movement is the representation of the family of Krishna. We stay in the Krishna consciousness movement, everything dedicated to Krishna. That is the family of Krishna, with the devotees. Krishna's homes, the temples of Krishna are Krishna's homes. And all the devotees are serving Krishna so nicely. Okay, text 41. Upon smelling the fragrance of the smoke emanating from Putana's burning body, many inhabitants of Brajabhumi in distant places were astonished. Where is this fragrance coming from? They asked. Thus they went to the spot where Putana's body was being burned. They were all wondering, where is the smell coming from? Then text 42, when the inhabitants of Braja, who had come from distant places, heard the whole story of how Putana had come and then been killed by Krishna, they were certainly astonished, and they offered their blessings to the child for his wonderful deed of killing Putana. They gave their blessings to Krishna. Nanda Maharaj, of course, was very much obliged to Vasudeva, who had foreseen the incident and simply thanked him, thinking how wonderful Vasudeva was. So hearing about the incident, this is the beginning of Lord Krishna's fame, of course. People around Vrindavan, they're going to hear. They'll all hear, because they all saw this huge Rakshasi body, and they knew that little baby Krishna had killed the Rakshasi, and then Krishna is going to kill other demons, and gradually Krishna's fame will become more and more. And people will hear. And that's why when Krishna, at the age of 11, when he went to Mathura, all the people were anxious to see him. And the ladies of Mathura, they were on the rooftops to look at Krishna. They'd heard about him. It's so wonderful. This way, people were, the devotees at least, were becoming more and more inspired, hearing about Krishna. Then the final verse, O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Kurus, Nanda Maharaj was very liberal and simple. He immediately took his son Krishna on his lap, as if Krishna had returned from death. And he, formally smelling his son's head, Nanda Maharaj undoubtedly enjoyed transcendental bliss. Right? Why did Nanda Maharaj enjoy so much bliss? Different reasons, several reasons why he enjoyed the bliss. Yes? I told Krishna Prabhu?
Maharaj seeing Krishna very safe. So maybe that was one, because as soon as he took his son on the lap, because Krishna was on his lap, he felt happiness.
Yes, that's one reason. He put his son on his lap, and then also, what else did he do?
He smelled his hair.
Yeah, he smelled his son's head. This is common thing. You've seen elders do that to their children. When the little child comes to them, they may put their head, they'll smell their head. And so Nanda Maharaj did that to Lord Krishna. And of course he was happy also to be home, because he'd gone to Mathura. So you come home, when you get home, you know, it's such a relief. Maybe, you know, here in Mayapur, we go to Calcutta and come back, you feel relieved. Or you're there in Calcutta, you go to Vrindavan, and you come back, you feel a relief to get back to your home and get back to your place. And so Nanda Maharaj was certainly happy to get back to Gokul, to be with his family and to be with his wonderful son, and to see his son was safe. Prabhupada says Nanda Maharaj could not understand how the inhabitants of his house had allowed Putana to enter the house, nor could he imagine the gravity of the situation. He was thinking, how did this happen? How did this nonsense all happen in my home? You let Putana in? He thought, what about the guards on the around Vrindavan? Didn't they stop her? Of course, she flew in. So, you know, you can't control birds flying. She flew in. So she flew in the night, so nobody could see her. So difficult. But Nanda Maharaj couldn't understand these things. He's just thinking how you could allow this woman to come in like this to our home. He did not understand that Krishna had wanted to kill Putana, and that his pastimes were performed by Yoga Maya. Nanda Maharaj simply thought that someone had entered his house and created havoc. This was Nanda Maharaj's simplicity. I'm sorry, there is one more verse. 44. Any person who hears with faith and devotion. So this is a fruit of hearing the pastime. Anyone who hears with faith and devotion about how Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, killed Putana, and who thus invests his hearing in such childhood pastimes of Krishna, certainly attains attachment for Govinda, the Supreme Original Person. So this is the benediction we're given by Sukadeva Goswami through Vyasadeva. We want to hear these pastimes, childhood pastimes. Prabhupada's purport, the incident in which the great witch attempted to kill the child but was killed herself is certainly wonderful. Therefore, this verse uses the words adbhutam, meaning specifically wonderful. Krishna has left us many wonderful narrations about him. Simply by reading these narrations as they are described in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one gains salvation from this material world and gradually develops attachment to and devotion for Govinda, Adi Purusha. Thus ends Bhaktivedanta purports of chapter number 6. Any questions? Anyone? We still have 5 minutes, at least.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
We see that devotees of Krishna, they are going through real hardship, and many times demons get some blessing very easily, like Putanan. very easily liberated, and devotees, they are beaten up in marketplace, and so how can we encourage ourselves to be devotees when we see that actually our quota is more struggle than the demons?
Well, I don't think you should think of it so much as a struggle. You should think that if Putana could get liberation so easily, then certainly we will get it if we go on with our devotion. If we continue to devote ourselves, offering everything, do regular sadhana, spiritual practices, eating prasadam and discussing topics of Krishna, then certainly we will also get more, much more than Putana got. It's certainly possible. We shouldn't think, oh, it's so difficult. No, if Putana could get it so easy, then it's also, more is available for us. We have to want. We have to want it. We have to be steady. And we have to have faith. Faith in what we're doing. That this is certainly the goal of life. And we don't want to waste this opportunity. Just give this one life to Krishna. You'll never regret it. So it's the greatest opportunity. So you have to have more faith. You shouldn't think, oh, it's so difficult. No, it's not so bad. Why do you think it's so difficult? Certainly Krishna knows the troubles we're taking, the difficulties we're accepting. We should be determined to go on. So, don't mind the difficulty. Actually, the difficulties are good for us because they make us more determined and more serious in our Krishna consciousness. If we get something too easy, we won't value it very much. Now, Putana, she got, what did she get? You said it was so easy for her, but she suffered. She was screaming. She was suffering. And she's known as a demon. Although she got special mercy from Krishna, we don't glorify Putana. We call her a witch. She's a demon. So we don't want that kind of reputation. We want to be known as a devotee. One who's known as a devotee, that's glorious position. But if you're known as a demon, even if you go back to Godhead, it's not very good. I don't. Oh, that's Putana. That woman over there is Putana. Oh, I don't think she can have such a. Although she's there in Goloka, so we want position of Putana, right?
Hare Krishna, please.
Yes?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Srinivas.
Maharaj, Maharaj, to become that great demon, to be killed by Krishna, lots of austerities they might have done.
Oh, yes. That's definitely
Otherwise,
good.
they will not be eligible to be killed by Krishna.
Yes. Krishna
So
didn't...
in that sense, if you think that we are nothing, we are not doing anything.
Right. Krishna didn't kill every demon. There was only certain demons Krishna killed them. And Putana happened to be one. Yes. So that's a good point, Prabhu. So certainly we don't know everything about Putana's previous life. As you said, we heard she was the daughter of Bali. So some bitterness there, because she saw her father lose everything. At the same time, she was attracted to Vamanadev. And we don't know everything about her previous life, but just to get that body of Putana, to get those powers, and to take part in Lord Krishna's pastimes, to be killed by Krishna, very special. So, certainly not so easy. We're fortunate. We're the fortunate people because we have the connection with the pure devotees, with the parampara, We have the Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Lord Chaitanya is Audarya avatar, giving the greatest mercy. We have to take shelter of that mercy. So we have a lot of mercy. We have a lot of things going for us to help us to go back to Godhead. Wonderful pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, who came to begin the Krishna consciousness movement, was for all of us, to give us a chance to serve Krishna. We have to take the opportunity, take it seriously. And then we can get everything. Certainly you can go to the spiritual world. You can be with Krishna. Thank you, Srinivas Prabhu. And
Thank you.
yes, any other question, comment?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Maharaj, Lord Krishna killed many demons in Vrindavan. Actually, that demon, they are not ordinary person. They are also great saintly person, like Bhumasur demon. And in his previous life, he was a king, and he left his kingdom and he went to forest to perform austerity. And during his austerity time, he did not respect Pulista Rishi. I'm audible, Maharaj?
Yes?
So that he did not offer respect to Pulista Rishi, and Pulista Rishi became angry and he cursed him. That's why that king became a Mayadanava son as a Bhumasur demon. And Lord Krishna killed him at Kamaban forest, and he got liberated. So like this way, they appeared in this Brajabhumi to perform Lord Krishna. To Lord Krishna deliver them like this way.
Okay. Then, so you're saying about how they become great demons.
Yes, Maharaj. Because Pulista Rishi cursed him to become a demon because his activities was like an angry mood, and he did not respect to the sadhus.
Yes, okay. Yes, we see also Vritasura, he got the body of a big demon, and it was curse of Parvati, but it was mercy, so he could go back to Godhead quicker. So sometimes it's arranged like that these souls, they take the body of demons so that they can be killed by Krishna, because it uses up all their last karma, and then they can go back to Godhead. So even though they come as a demon, they're actually devotees in the spiritual world. And so we see this with Putana, that she's playing the part of a demon, but she's going to go back to God. She went back to Godhead to serve there. So it's not that she's always Putana. Putana was just her role in the material world, right? We shouldn't criticize her because of her part in the material world. We should think who she is in the spiritual world, because that's her eternal lila in the spiritual world. So she took the position of a demon just so she could finish off her karma, and then she could go back to Godhead and serve Krishna eternally. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. You know, before we stop, I'd like to ask everyone, do you want to change the time of the class? We were having it 4 o'clock, but tomorrow's the fasting and break the fast. We want to, maybe you want to break. Do you want to bring it forward 1 hour? And we'll have class at 3.
2 hours before.
Huh?
2 hours before is good.
2 hours before. That will be 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock to 4:30. What do you say? I'll ask all the devotees, when do you want the class? You want 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock? Because not everyone's from India, are they?
Sorry, Maharaj, 3 is fine. 2 o'clock is, we have some other engagements.
Yes, I think so.
3 means, sorry Maharaj, 3 means again up to 5:30 it goes.
Yes, right. And then we can break it fast. You can take your prasadam. 5:30 is good. Gayatri. So, is that all right, Jalangi and all the other ladies? Are you okay with that?
Yes. Morning stop. I prefer that time. Shall I tell your cook, Guru Maharaj?
Who's my cook? No, I will tell you.
So, Maharaj, tomorrow what time shall we come?
3.
3 o'clock. Okay, Maharaj.
3 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, Maharaj.
All right. Is everyone still here? They didn't all leave the class?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow 3 o'clock and we'll have the last class tomorrow. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go back to Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
His
Thank you,
Holiness
Maharaj.
Sri Vigna Vinashak Singh Maharaj ki